Welcome back to the Fruit Snacks Podcast. This is your host, Emily Wardrop from Drop the War Life Coaching. I am the T1D Moms Coach, and I am here to help you feel less scared, stressed, and whatever the other S is, and start feeling more calm, confident, and connected. So if you're missing my intro and outro, so am I, but I'm having technical difficulties, and this will just be an example of one of the things that we're talking about today. So we're talking about letting go of control, giving up control. This is a huge one. This is a huge one. This is the number one stress relief tool. So if we're talking about feeling less stressed, this is today. This is what we're talking about, is in the less stress bucket. So we have a lot of stress as a T1D mom. We have a kid with type 1 diabetes. Their life is on the line every second of the day, according to our brain. And possibly that's not just a thought. It might be the circumstance, but that's a fuzzy line. Anyway, point is, it's very stressful, right? And I'll give you that. So we're not going to get rid of stress altogether. No one's getting rid of stress altogether, especially not us. But I want to share this tool with you because it will definitely help relieve some of the stress, which is very important for your mental and emotional well-being, which is what this podcast is all about, is helping you with your mental and emotional health while managing your child's diabetes. Okay. So let's just take a deep breath as we're talking about feeling less stressed. The breath is the number one tool. Literally. And I've recently had many a podcast talking about our nervous system. And so as we're doing thought work with the coaching model, what we really need first is to calm our nervous system. So to feel less stressed, take a breath, mama. Take a breath. It's the tool you have with you all the time to get you instantly out of your hyper aroused state and back into your brain, because your nervous system hijacks your brain, and all bets are off. But we need your brain on to take care of your kiddos. So okay, so take a breath. Here's the thing: we are all control freaks. Let's just admit it. Sorry, just taking a note of something else I wanted to say. Okay. Okay, so that doesn't sound that great, calling myself a control freak. So I like to rename things so that I feel better about them, but it's really the same thing. It's just a different name. Syntax. I love it. I'm an agency enthusiast. So God gave me agency, which means I can choose. And I am not a fan of people trying to take that agency away from me. Do you hear the control in there? So I'm not a control freak. I just really, 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 really love my agency. And I want to be in control, right? Because to a point, I am. I've been given this amazing gift of agency. Even God can't take that away from me. I get to choose. I get to make my own decisions. I get to do what I want to do, right? And that's another thing we talk about a lot, is regaining our own agency and recognizing that we are doing what we want to do, tangent, not going there. Been there a million times on this podcast. So if you haven't heard that, go listen to any other one. Okay, so, but the thing is that our human brain really wants to be in control. It's a natural brain function. So there's nothing wrong with you. If you feel very uptight and control freakish, then just know that you're very normal and your brain is functioning correctly. And there's nothing wrong with you. It's just the way brains work. We want to be in control because we were given this amazing gift of agency, and we do get to choose, and we do not like it when people try to take that gift away from us, or even in any perceived threat. Again, nervous system, it doesn't matter if it really is a threat, but if your nervous system perceives it as a threat. So life, liberty, we are very protective. Our nervous system is very protective of our lives, our kids' lives, right? And our liberty, our agency. Do not try to take that away from me. I will get all up in my control freak mode when I feel a threat to my agency, right? Okay, so how does this look and why is this a stress reliever? If you woke up at 3 a.m. just now, like I did, you're probably thinking and stressing and obsessing over something that's out of your control. So what the tool actually is this in my control? Then what am I going to do about it? If it's not, then you give it back. You just give it back. You give that stress back to whoever is in control. If it's God that's in control, we give it back to him. If it's your husband that's in control, you give it back to him. If it's the teacher, if it's the government, if it's the insurance company, if it's your child's body, like you are not actually in control of any of those things. And the reason we're stressed out to the max is because we are trying to control things that are outside of our control. So the tool is give it back, give up control, just give it back. Just let it go, right? So, so you ask yourself, is this in my control? If it's not, then you just give it back and you can go back to sleep. You do not have to be up stressing all night about things that are outside of your control. I promise. It's called trust. So instead of control freaking, we're trusting. Okay. We're going to trust the government, trust the insurance companies, trust the insulin producers, trust our husbands, trust the government. Oh, I already said that one. Trust God, trust whoever it is outside of us that's in control of that particular circumstance. If we're not in control, then we just let it go. Okay, so this is an amazing tool that can change your life, but it's a lot easier said than done, which is what a coach is for. So I'm here to help you reprogram your brain and not obsess over things that are not in your control. So that's like a really fun thing we work on in coaching. Okay, so let's see, where do we want to start with that list of things that are outside of control? So of course, my favorite thing to talk about is just trusting in God, right? So, um, so I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and every 6 months we have a thing called General Conference where the prophet, hello, did you know there's a prophet on the earth today, like Noah, Moses, prophets, like Old Testament prophets, but they're modern day prophets, and 12 apostles, like Jesus called in his day. Oh my gosh, so exciting. So the prophet and apostles and other church leaders do this worldwide conference every single 6 months. So we just had one recently, and one of the apostles was talking about a thing called covenant confidence. So I was like, oh, this is so good, because we want to feel less stressed. We want to feel more confident. So the way we feel more confident is what we're talking about here is that we're dropping our trust in ourselves and putting our trust in whoever is in control. And a lot of times we are out of control because literally we don't have control and God does. So having confidence in him, that trust is my favorite. That's the one that really gets me the confidence, it gets me the peace, and gets me the sleep at night, right? So, and keeps my brain from being completely cray cray all day long, right? So trusting in God means that he's got you. He's got your kiddo. He knows what is best for you. He wants to keep that kiddo safe and healthy and happy just as much as you do. And it's in his hands. So when it's not in our hands, I mean, when it is in your control, that's why we ask, is this in my control? Then what can I do about it? And do it. If it's not, then put it back in the hands whose control it is. And God is, we are always in the hollow of his hand. He's got you, mama. So when we have confidence in Jesus, then we don't have to have confidence in ourselves, which is a huge relief because he actually knows what's going on. I have no idea. I'm just trying to stay afloat, right? Okay, so many things. Hold on, I have a ton of notes. So this is going to feel all over the place, but what's new around here? Okay, so all right, if we're just at random, well, let's stay on task. Let me scoot down to some more thoughts about God. Okay, so another thing that we need to trust God, not money. Okay, this is a huge one I've been working on lately because this is pretty normal to trust God, not a paycheck. That's what we're doing. So as entrepreneurs, it's pretty wild. Like when you have a steady paycheck, you get this false sense of security and confidence, right? That you're going to have this much money every 2 weeks, right? So when you live on a fixed income, then you basically start trusting that income and you budget around it and all the things. Um, when your income is not as fixed, then you trust in God a lot more and trust in the paycheck less because there's not a constant paycheck coming in. Which if you want to live like that, that's totally fine. But really, thoughts either way. So your confidence, like I said, false sense of confidence, because anybody could get fired at any time, you know. So we think that if someone else is paying us, then it's a little more steady of a paycheck, but it could end at any time. So when we're in control, right? We like to be in control. We want to be in control of our finances. So sometimes actually people feel more confident as entrepreneurs that they can control the amount of money they're getting paid a little easier. And some people, it works the exact opposite. So it's thoughts either way, right? Because they're like, oh, I don't know, if I'm in control, then I don't know how much. Or entrepreneurs are relying on their clients to pay them. And so they feel like that's out of control. Anyway, it's all just a metaphor, that it's just an example of where to give up control. So this is definitely not a podcast about entrepreneurship, obviously. But the point is, to trust in God and not a paycheck is quite the brain shift. Okay. So again, I'd say probably if we wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep, I mean, as T1D moms, probably it's more about our kids' blood sugar levels and less about money. But in general population, probably one of the things that we're the most stressed about that we can't sleep at night is money. And so you give that back to God, who's in charge. And or say you're a stay-at-home mom, right? With this T1D kiddo, and that has the bills rolling in. I mean, the insulin's not cheap. I just was talking to a mom at the park today, because you know we T1D moms find each other. Well, she was easy to spot because she was carrying around a Rufus doll. And so even my son pointed it out. He was like, hey, there's the diabetes bear. I'm like, oh, fun. And then I saw the girls' Dexcom also, and I went over to the mom. I was like, hey, I have a couple kids with diabetes too, you know. So anyway, what's my point? Oh, she was telling me that she doesn't even get her insurance for free. I was like, what? So we're super spoiled on our insurance. Even the insulin is 100% covered. But what's my point? Oh yeah, the diabetes costs a lot, right? And so we are stressed about money on top of being stressed about our kids' health. So again, and that's where trusting the insurance companies and the government and all the things like that's playing their part there, right? And so you can do what you can do, right? To a point, and then you just gotta give that control back to wherever it belongs. So that's why the question, this is the tool. Is this in my control? Because if it's in your control to change insurance plans and get a better one that's got better coverage, whatever, then do it. If it's not, that she and her husband are both state employees. So that's pretty cut and dry, the insurance that they can have with that job. But do they want to change jobs? Do they want to whatever? There's like a million options when we literally think about it. Is this in my control? Sometimes the answer is going to be no. Sometimes the answer seems like it's no. But if you dig a little deeper with your higher brain and not your nervous system, then you can find ways that it is. Anyway, where did that tangent come from? There was something else I was going to mention about that mom. Is it in my notes somewhere? It'll come back to me. Okay, so trusting in God, not in money, not our own wisdom, not in our own understanding. So what does that say? Maybe if I took notes and they were legible, that would be, I have no idea what that says. Think like a parenting is what it looks like it says. Maybe I'll remember what that says later. But anyway, so trusting God and not in our own understanding, right? So we do not understand what the heck is going on. Oh, that was it. That's the other thing from the lady at the park. Oh, that's what it says. Think like a pancreas. Okay, now I got it. So she was telling me about this book that she read called Think Like a Pancreas. Have you all read it? I don't know. I haven't yet. But when her child got diagnosed, she wanted to learn everything there was to learn, and so that she would know what's going on and know how to make the adjustments herself and not have to trust in her medical professionals as much and all the things, and all of that sounded really super great. And it just reminded me of this whole like control freak thing. So obviously we're out of control. We have no idea what's going on. And especially at diagnosis. And so the more we can learn, the better, to be more in control. And sometimes that control is an illusion. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it doesn't matter. It's just your thoughts that matter. And so if you feel more confident because you have more information, then go for it. That's great. And in the end, God is all knowing and we are not. And so, so the false illusion of control that we have when we are learned is the risk of that is that then we again are trusting in ourselves and not in God. So there's, a balance, like in all things, and moderation is not something our brains are good at. We're much better at black and white thinking, all or nothing, one end of the pendulum to the other, right? And so, of course, it's important to be studying and learning and relying on our own, what we are in control of, right? And then also have that good measure of trusting that we don't know everything and God does. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's go to wasted opinions because this is so good. So my coach Jody Moore, that's what she calls it. So we can sit around talking about how to make the world a better place all day long because it's really easy to see how other people can improve, how the government can improve, how the insurance companies can improve, how the scientists can improve. Like it's easy for me to tell everybody else how to do their thing, but it's not my thing, right? Not in my control. Not my control. How they're developing a cure, how they're, how they pay for the insurance coverage, whatever. All the things that are not in my control are not in my control. And those are the things we tend to want to focus on. And so this tool is very, very, very useful because if it's not in your control and you are just spinning on it in your brain, then you are wasting brain juice. And we have got to be more, whatever that word is, frugal with our brain juice. Okay. We cannot be wasting our brain juice on things that are outside of our control because we have a lot of things that are in our control that we need our full brain power to take care of. Okay. So we don't need to be wasting brain power stressing about things that are outside of our control. So we really need to rein it in. Is this a wasted opinion? Do I have an opinion about something that I have no control over? Then drop it. Give that back. Give up the control, give it back, and focus on what is in your control. Okay. It will change everything for you, I promise. So basically, in every single coaching session I have, it's a control freak issue in the client's brain. And so it's a very natural brain function again. Like this is not anything to beat ourselves up about, right? Once we get the awareness, we also have to have that acceptance, allowance. It's totally normal. It's totally fine. And now that we're aware and we're not judging it, what do we want to do about it, right? So, so that is why this tool is useful, that you get the awareness that it's not in your control, then you can give it back. If it is in your control, what do you want to do about it? Instead of just spinning. The spinning is so stressful and exhausting and literally exhausting because you can't get any sleep at night, right? As I'm obsessed with saying because it's 3 a.m. Actually, it's 4 now. Anyway, okay, so give it back. If it's not yours to control, just give it back. All right. Trusting in others. This is a big one and it's really, really hard. So I was really stressed about my girls. My girls got diagnosed before they were even in school. I mean, one of them still isn't. She's just in preschool. And I was really nervous about sending them to kindergarten and trusting someone besides myself, like, and babysitters, things like that. Like, is really hard, right? T1D mamas, crinkle your fruit snacks in solidarity. It is hard to trust someone else to take care of your child's diabetes. It's really hard. And it's also really hard to do it yourself all day long and all night long. Like you have got to get rest and you have got to take care of yourself. So you have got to give up the control and let someone else be in charge sometimes because you're just going to burn yourself out and then you're going to be no good either. So somebody's got to be good to take care of these kiddos. Okay. So the main thought that helped me have confidence to send my kid to school and trust in the nurses there is that they've been dealing with diabetes way longer than I have, or with way more kids than I have. And they're have the medical training that I've never had. So, so that helped me release control, and now I can just enjoy. Oh man, I can enjoy the break from having to control things. And so put away the monitor. If you can see where their blood's at from afar, you do not need to sit there stressing about it the whole time. Give up that control. You think it's still in your control because it kind of is. Like you can see it and you can call the nurse and be like, have you seen the numbers? Let her do her job. She's competent. And enjoy a break, mama, please. So trusting others is so good for us when we can get there. And like I said, this tool may need some coaching to accompany it. So here I am for you in that regard. Okay. Husbands. This is a doozy. So we have got to, again, same thing. Like if you are so control freaking your child's diabetes management that you can't even share that control with your husband, you're literally going to burn yourself out. Like we are in pairs for a reason. Like we have just got to let it go. So he does things differently than you. That's okay. That's another tool that I really love. In fact, I think it's in my top 3. The hold on, I just lost my train. Oh, yeah, it's okay for him to be right. You don't even have to be wrong in order for him to be right. Like there literally are a million ways to manage the diabetes. So he's not doing it your way, but he's not doing it wrong. He's just doing it his way. And when I try to believe that, you know what? How many times? Oh my gosh, my husband's way is so much better. So there may not be a right or a wrong, but there sometimes definitely is a better way. And we're not always the one with it. I mean, this is a hard pill to swallow, but really try because it will relieve you so much to not have to be the right one all the time. You don't have to be right and best and all the things. Like you can both be right. He can do it his way, even if his way is not your way. Okay. The child will survive. I promise. So he does it his way and it's okay. He does it his way and it's okay. Like that's a mantra you can use all the time to reassure your nervous system. I am safe. My child is safe. My husband is competent. He does it his way. It's different. All because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. I picked up that one like a long time ago. Yeah. So, all right. Have we rambled on enough for today? Give up the control, mama. I'm telling you. Okay. I'm back to one more. This is the note I wrote earlier. Okay, I guess we're back to trusting in God. So my neighborhood has an amazing 12-step program for the family member of an addict. So the 12-step program, I guess it started as Alcoholics Anonymous, so it's for alcoholism, but it spread to all sorts of addictions, and now it's even like addiction and affliction. So every human needs a 12-step program, right? Because we're all a mess. And I think it's step 3. I'm clearly no 12-step expert. I just dabble because it's a really fun little club we've got here. Anyway, I think it's step 3 that you're basically is this that we're talking about. And I was going to get out my book and find some fun quotes, but I lent it to my neighbor. So I don't even have the book. So I'm for real not a 12-step expert. Don't even have my cheat sheet here. But the point is, we spent a really, really, really long time on step 3. We haven't even moved on to step 4 yet because step 3 is where the rubber meets the road, is giving the control back to God. Like you are out of control and he is in control, and that your life is unmanageable is what we acknowledge. And then we let him manage it. So literally we're trying to manage our child's diabetes while our life's unmanageable. So it's very stressful. So I'm telling you, the number 1 brain hack to relieve stress is to ask yourself, is this in my control? If it is, what am I going to do about it? Like make a decision, do something, right? And if it's not, give it back. Giving up control, oh, it feels so good. I literally just did it when I woke up at 3 a.m. There was something I was worried about. I can't even remember now because I was like, nope, that's my husband's business, and give it back to him. Like if it's his business, if he's in charge of it, if it's his thing, then I just give it back, give it back, give it back. If it's not your thing, don't take it on. It's so exhausting because you can't control it, and our brains want control. So focus on the things you can control and do something about it, and then enjoy that relief that comes from this tool. If you need help with it, drop thewar.com/appointments. I do complimentary coaching sessions. We can hop on a call just for free. I would love to help you with whatever you're stuck spinning on, because getting that brain to stop spinning, oh, it's such a relief. Oh, it's such a relief. Okay, and since my outro doesn't work, let me also mention, like I was saying, in my top 3 brain hacks. So dropthewar.com/top 3 is just a free little fun video that I put together where I tried to just give you 3 brain hacks, but you know how I go. So there's like a gajillion thoughts that you can try on. So having a child with diabetes is hard enough. We don't need to make it harder with the way we're thinking about it. So I have some brain hacks, meaning change your thoughts, change your life. Check out the video. And hit me up when you're ready to get a 2-way conversation going, because it's fun to wake up in the middle of the night with an idea and come down and record a podcast. It's even more fun to talk to a real human, like the lady at the park today. I'm like, whoa, T1D mom, talk to me. It's so fun. So let's see. Anything else? Enjoy giving up control, because it's the best. All right. Good luck with that. And if you need help, I'm here for you. Talk to you later. Bye.